He's reliable, yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome to Hot Couch Potato, the podcast where we talk about video games, and have very, very addictive personalities. My name is Brent, aka Boo-Wop. I'm here with my man Rick, aka A New Perfect Day. What's going on, man?
Dude, apparently I have that addiction is like pretty bad when it comes to playing video games, because for the past 3 weeks, I don't know if anyone saw me, but I've been on Persona 5 for like almost every single day for most of my free time, and I was like, man, Monster Hunter, just starting to play that game, and I'm already been 3 days in playing almost every day, most of the day. And I've been going to bed like at 4 a.m. in the morning almost each day. So I'm running off of a lot of coffee. Even though I don't drink coffee, man, I just fucking need this shit because I'm like, I need to play this game.
It is. I feel like we get that with a bunch of games that come out. I think I did it with Final Fantasy 14. I want to say I did it for Blade and Soul when Blade and Soul first came out. And Destiny 2 and Destiny 1 expansions, I was doing the same thing too, man.
Yeah.
Where I was just, anytime I was awake, I was playing, and not at work, I was playing those games, man. And it just, yeah, like you said, it jacks up your sleep schedule, dude. You said you were up until 4 last night playing?
Yeah, 4 a.m. playing with Danny and Dustin, and we're just, man.
And it doesn't feel like you're playing that long though, right?
No, I'm like, dude, I'm ready. I'm amped still. I don't know. It's just because the things we do, it just like increases our adrenaline. So it's like infinitely.
We might need an intervention, man. We're addicts, dude. Shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course, a lot of Monster Hunter that came out on Friday. We'll be talking about that though in the games we're about to play. But just some interesting stuff that happened this week, at least in the gaming world. Sea of Thieves closed beta came out on Xbox One and on Windows 10. So I know a lot of people are streaming it, playing it on their computer, and that game might be the new addiction, man. Might be the one that just
we gotta let people walk the plank, you know. I just want to see if that shark is gonna eat us, and how many people can go in the water before the shark eats us all. And
yeah, the sharks are pretty quick, I think, man. I think it's
also like everyone like instantly dies.
It's not instantly. I think if you're in there for too long, it's like a countermeasure, you know, that limits you from being in the water for too long. Because there's sunken ships you could swim into, I think, and get treasure from it. But they don't want you to just hang out there infinitely, right? So they'll throw the sharks in there so you can give you that suspense of having to leave and do stuff quickly, you know.
I was thinking about like jumping in the water and, you know, swimming to the other boat to infiltrate their ship and fuck up their ship and then like swim back, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't. Which sharks? I get like fucking crazy scared when I think of like something chasing me, like especially sharks. Dude, like in Assassin's Creed 4, you have the ability to go underwater, but like each pocket bubble, you have to, when you swim, there's like a shark, and you have to be like subtly quiet and all that, and sneak in the darkness, and I can't do that. That's too much fucking pressure. So I only did that one time, and I was like, nope, I'm never gonna come down here ever again.
Well, yeah, I've seen a lot of clips of people jumping on boats. I guess the only real place to put treasure chests on your ship is in the captain's quarters. So people will infiltrate ships, go into the captain's quarters, and throw all the treasure chests overboard and shit, man. It looks crazy, bro. And I know one of our favorite features, or at least one of my favorite features in Starbound, was how we can get instruments and play music together. You can totally fucking do that in Sea of Thieves, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then the ship fights with all the cannons and stuff look amazing too, man. Just good open world co-op, make your own adventure type stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, is it going to be releasing this year, or is it next year?
I think it's this year. I forget if it's March or April. But it's coming up, man. And it is one of the new, Xbox has those new things, you know, where if you own a game on Xbox, you have it on Windows as well. So Yeah, man. Looks like we could pick it up, dude.
Damn, so we have to buy Xbox games, so just in case we ever get an Xbox One in the future.
Yeah, I guess, man. What my thinking is it's cross-platform where you sign in into Microsoft Gaming Network, whatever it is. You know what I mean? And that profile is
Oh,
on your computer and on your Xbox itself, kind of like Steam, you know. But you can use it on your PC on Xbox too. Um, so then you sign in on there, and then you have your games that you've purchased, so you could download it either on your Xbox or on your computer. That's how I think it's gonna be. I don't know. I'm not 100 on that. But yeah, that game looks exciting. That might be the new hotness that we jump into, since it'll be about a month. Maybe we get. Do you think you'll ever get burnt out on Monster Hunter? I know it's been only the first 3 days, but so far I don't think I'm gonna get burnt out on that game.
not anytime soon. I think we're gonna we spent a lot of hours, within release date, and we haven't really leveled up really a lot.
That's
It's because
true.
we've been, doing all these miscellaneous stuff, side quests and
Mhm.
gathering, grinding and all that. So I think not yet. I think it's gonna last for a couple of months, just like how Destiny was, and
Mhm.
maybe they're going to be releasing more patches, more story along the way to
Mhm.
increase it. Because so far, I still don't know how depth this game is, how big the story is. I just been so focused on playing with you guys and grinding for gear.
Yeah, yeah. Same here. And I don't think we're even halfway through the story yet. I know we're kind of a spoiler alert, but we're chasing this world dragon, whatever it is. And I know we both just finished the mission where it kind of escaped. So if I know anime, that's got to be in the first fourth of the story arc, right? It always happens where the good guys and bad guys run into each other, have that initial combat, and then they go and talk about it with everybody, train, and then fight again.
Oh.
And the second encounter is where they start to understand each other and feel sorry for each other, you know. And then in the end, the very end of
Everybody
the anime,
becomes dragons.
yeah, in the very end of the anime, we'll all turn into dragons and fight against whatever is coming. Anyways, so yeah, this will be a game. Sea of Thieves we pick up on the PC. Something I'd upgrade my PC for maybe, but I can't because graphics card prices are out the wazoo right now, man.
No.
What is going on? I remember when they announced the 1080s, 1070s at, I think that was at a E3 one year when they announced those, or maybe they had their own press conference. But when they announced them, they said, "Yeah, these are our new graphics cards. They're way more powerful than the 980s, which cost like $700, and they're only going to cost $500." And everyone's like, "What? Get the fuck out of here!" And they came out, and they did cost $500. And then what was the prices now when you did a recent search?
I think Anthony said it was like $1,000 or a little bit more. I'm not sure, but it's fucking really crazy. I remember too when it released. It was in June or something like that, and I was still skeptic. Everybody was pretty skeptic, and nobody really bought GPUs. It maintained that price. And I remember researching for computer parts for my coworker, back in like August. And we managed to pick up like a 980 for him. And then I remember there was like some sort of sale for like 1080 for like $400, and it was like for a day, and 980s for like $200. But after that particular month, dude, it just like fucking went crazy. Like everyone like stockpiled them, and now they're like selling it for ridiculously high prices and all that. So I think your best bet is getting an old graphics card for like maybe a 970, which is still very powerful, and good for its price.
Because right now you have a 1070, right?
No, 970.
Oh, 970.
I only have a 970, which is equivalent-ish to a 960 or 1060.
Okay.
So you can probably just pick up a 1060. I don't know the prices for that, but that is, I built my nephew's computer, and it was like, at the time he only bought it for $180.
A 1060?
Yeah, 1060. It was I think he had like a 30% discount or something like that. But check out those prices. Those were the ones that were good at the time. I'm not sure what the prices are now, so yeah. Either go 1060 or 1070 for its price, or if you want to max out everything, just might as well buy that 1080.
That's so flagrant, man. That's legitimately the diamond business, right? Don't they stockpile all the diamonds just to what do you call it? Manipulate the prices of it and shit, man.
Yeah,
That's
that
so
supply
wild
and
to me, bro.
demand kind of just like the Wii back then. You're literally like, oh yeah, we can't produce enough to meet the demands of the customers. You know, it's like no, no, no. You have enough. It's just you're selling it and pretending like it's out of stock, kind of thing. So it's like they're pretty good at manipulating that shit.
Yeah, man. Fuck. So I guess the highest it got was $1,400
Oh my
for a graphics card.
god, that's a computer.
Yeah, but I think it's up to 800 right now. Not too well.
Oh,
That's still crazier than
that's still
what it should
high.
cost. Yeah, man. I gotta look. Maybe I'll get a 1060 if it's that cheap, man.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I blame Bitcoin becoming popular, man. Because then that's the way you mine for Bitcoin, right? Is to lend your computing power over to somebody, essentially. So people are building these supercomputers to farm Bitcoin and shit like that, and makes everything that much rarer. It's got to be the worst time in the world to build a PC. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially now.
Yeah, dude, it's got to be the worst. In other news, God of War finally has a release date. I remember it was so funny when we were at PlayStation Experience. They had the developer for God of War on stage, and the whole time one of the guys was like, "Finish God of War, man. Finish God of War." And they were talking about at that time, which was around December, that they were just in the final stages of play testing and all that. So it looks like everything finally came around. It comes out April 20th, dude. So
Is any other game coming out in April?
yes,
March?
Nintendo Labo is coming out on April 20th.
Cardboard.
The same day, dude.
Wow.
So we'll see who wins that battle, man. I actually was talking to a couple coworkers of mine who are excited for Nintendo Labo.
What?
As crazy
Really?
as that sounds. Yeah, man. I think for their kids, their parents.
Oh,
So
okay.
for their kids, they think it'll be really cool. It's arts and crafts, and they said it could teach them about engineering. They obviously looked way more into it than I did, but I guess you could teach your kids about engineering through it, you know, because it gives you steps on building everything and how it affects. I have no idea, honestly, dude.
Cognitive reasoning and
Maybe.
design.
Yeah, and you could program what they do inside the Nintendo Labo game cartridge thing. So, who knows, man?
Jesus, they're trying to create all of these developers at a young age, so that way, you know, you have
Very
your
true.
fan base of Nintendo, but they're all going to be applying for. Man, we just discovered their conspiracy.
Damn, that is, because then one day, you know, my coworkers' kids are gonna be our age, and they're gonna think, man, I remember when I first fell in love with engineering. It's when my dad bought me Nintendo Labo.
Yeah.
Maybe I should pay it back and work for Nintendo. as
Yup.
this
Yeah.
crazy engineer. Holy shit, dude, you're right. They're farming right now. They're farming engineers out of these kids. That's crazy. My mind is blown, dude. But we'll see who wins that battle of sales that day. I am willing to bet. Oh, I actually don't know, man. Who do you think is gonna sell more
I
in the
think
first
it
weekend?
has to be Nintendo because the fan base is more broad and more huge. You know, and God of War is more specific to a specific audience, and I think it's only limited to, I don't know, people that like the hack and slash genre kind of thing.
I feel you. That and yeah, that's true actually. And Nintendo Switch is the biggest selling console ever, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. Kind of sucks for God of War. It's like what were the games that came out? Mario Odyssey, Assassin's Creed, and Wolfenstein all came out at the same time. People kind of forgot about Wolfenstein, dude.
Yeah.
Hopefully God of War doesn't fall into that same bucket, dude. That would suck.
Yeah, they just have to like strategize, like, oh, what game is coming out this month? Oh, let's not release our game that month.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I've always wondered that too, because it's not even with games, but record companies do that too, right? Like they'll musicians, artists are always going to be making music, right? But the record label will tell them, nah, you can't release your CD. It's not the time. When the fuck is the time to release it then, dude?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me, man. I wonder if there's got to be some science behind it. You think?
Yeah, the Illuminati.
Maybe here's one strategy I would think. Maybe because they know you have to have your taxes done by April 14th. Isn't it April 14th?
Brilliant.
So
yep, that is probably the reason.
On everyone having their tax returns and then just coming out with all the new shit the week after everybody gets their tax returns. That might be the strategy. That might be the strategy.
Yeah, that might be.
So that could be one scientific reason behind it or one real world reason. But yeah, that'd be interesting to pick someone's brain who makes those decisions. Yeah. Like, oh, it rained last Wednesday, so we can't drop your album today, or we can't release this game because it rained. That'd be weird. Speaking of two games also that came out at the same time more recently, Dragon Ball FighterZ Z came out on Friday, same day as Monster Hunter World.
You big mistake.
I don't think we're too excited about Dragon Ball Z, but I know a lot of people are. I think it's been claimed it's the best Dragon Ball fighting game since forever. I played a bunch. I played GT on PlayStation.
Yeah.
And I played Budokai pretty hard, man. I think the Budokai 3 was that on Xbox 360?
I think so, and it was on PS2 or PS3.
Maybe, but that's the one where you could charge and actually transform. I remember I was fighting someone online, and I was it really took me. I just really wanted to be Super Saiyan level 4 or whatever it was at the time, so I could do the Spirit Bomb and just kill someone in one hit. I spent an hour trying to find someone online to do that too, dude. Because you really, that whole fight, you have to be charging your shit. You can't use your meter at all and shit like that.
Damn. So you had to like dodge, block, and
yeah, man, I was dodging the whole time and running and shit like that. But no one would let me do it. And I found someone that was just as horrible at the game as I was to let me do it too. But no, I think it's a big thing, man. I mean, I haven't seen any sales. There's probably not going to be any sales reports until tomorrow, but it'll be interesting to see what's sold more, either Dragon Ball FighterZ or Monster Hunter World, because there's a Dragon Ball series on right now, isn't there? Isn't Dragon Ball Super?
Yeah, I think it was like Dragon Ball Super Kai, or I don't remember.
Super. Jeez, what story does it even follow anymore? Is Gohan all grown up and shit, or what?
I have no idea. I think it's like a remake or retake or different direction. I have no idea. Like, all I know is that Goku and his like pals are all fighting in this arena or this tournament again. You know, like under gods. So I don't know where it's going.
Interesting. It's interesting.
It used to be about Dragon Ball and finding the Dragon Balls and making the wish, and now it's just like everybody has to charge up and fight each other all the time. Guarantee.
Yeah, man. I mean, the only real saga I was into was the Frieza one, man, because they replayed that whole saga maybe 5 times on Toonami.
50 million times. Like when they release a new episode, then they bring you all the way back to Raditz, and then in order to watch that new episode again, you have to watch the whole series like 20 times. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. I remember how many episodes Goku and Frieza were charging their powers and shit while Namek was like blowing up and shit, dude. And then, oh man, Namek, we have our own set of Dragon Balls. They're not the same as Earth's, so we don't have to wait too long to make a wish. We're like, what the fuck? You're just making up the rules now, dude.
Yep.
But yeah, man. So yeah, that might be big to some people. I mean, it'll probably be huge in the fighting game community. What do you think do you think it'll be at Evo this year? Evo's are in the summer times, yeah.
Yeah, probably. I don't know how big the fan base is, but it's like almost everyone that I've talked to that is into Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball, they watch that new anime, so I'm guessing they're going to be picking up that game. So
Yeah.
surprisingly enough, I was like, wow, there's a lot of people that are into Dragon Ball still, you know.
Yeah.
Like I thought everyone was growing out of it, but no, there's a lot of people that still are in.
Yeah, I think since we grew up with it, it was some people's first exposure to anime and stuff, and the over 9,000 meme kind of gave it more life, and the abridged versions that people put up online that do the voiceovers for on YouTube. I think that helps it stay relevant at least. So, yeah, it wasn't destined to fail. But all I know is on our friends lists, if I were to jump on PlayStation right now, we're probably 12 people online on their PlayStation, all playing one game, dude. Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll go into what we're playing this week. I know, Rick, you started off with Persona. Have you played it since Friday?
Not well, just a little bit actually. Like
Okay.
because when we first started playing Monster Hunter, I noticed that it's more like team focus, it's multiplayer focus because you know you gotta hunt these dragons or whatnot together. So I've been playing Persona. I'm hoping to finish it before I get sucked into Monster Hunter because I'm already feeling I'm sucked into Monster Hunter. You know, I already spent 120 hours in Persona 5. I picked my waifu, so I won the bet for everybody.
What? Wait. Who'd you pick?
Her name is Hifumi.
Mm-hmm.
So basically she's like a chess player, and my nephew, when I told my nephew, he was like, oh my god, you're like throwing it, you picked the most underdeveloped character. And I was like, yes, I know, because I was like the choices my nephew and Anthony chose, like they betted against me. I really was gonna pick those two, and her name was Makoto. Her persona, like first, you know, I wasn't into her kind of personality at the beginning, but then she started having that strong character development throughout the story, and her persona, which is like a guardian or whatnot that these people summon to attack. She rides a motorcycle, and I was like, holy shit, you know. And then she has like a temper, so she has like an anger temper when she's, you know, down there and all that. But that was the part that like kind of made my heart skip a beat. I was like, oh yeah, maybe I might pick her in the end. But then I met Futaba, which she's like an IT tech person. She's like a hacker, basically. And she's a nerd, and she's very awkward, weird, and quirky. But you know, that's what makes her like special. And I was like, dude, her anime voice came from like One Punch Man and all these prominent animes. She's in Persona, and I was like, because I put it in Japanese, by the way. And I was like, okay, shoot, now it's between these two girls, the Makoto and the Futaba. And I was like, okay, yeah, I think I might end up picking that person. But when I went to Hifumi, which was like a side character, basically she's playing shogi, which is like chess, and her personality is nice. You know, she's like really nice when you talk to her, very quiet and all that. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, she's a nice girl and all that. I'll just rank you up. Her personality does like a 180 when she's playing shogi. It's like she's like very, I don't know how you say it, very not dominant, but
she competitive or
assertive. Yeah, competitive, assertive, and it just does a 180. You know, it's like not even nice, but basically, when she slammed her shogi piece, her chess piece down, and she was like, checkmate. I was like, oh my god, you stole my heart at that point of time. So I was like leveling up. And it turns out like at rank 6, I was like looking at her tarot card or whatnot. Basically, all of the relationships you build with everybody, they have like some sort of like a tarot card. So like one is like a hermit, one is like strength, one is justice. Hers, Hifumi's, was star. I was like, I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, okay, I gotta level up Star. All these Star monsters I gotta use in order to level her up. And then I was like, wait a minute, what is my name again? It turns out I named my character Star at the very beginning. So I was like, okay, this solidifies my destiny right now as of this time. So I became friends with everybody I ranked up, all the girls. I was like, nope, you're my friend now. You're not gonna go any higher because I'm gonna be dating this girl because hers is Star. Because in the game they barely mention your name, and when they do, they mention your last name. You know how Japanese society is. They're like
last
name. So yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh my god, my name is Star. Her confident tarot card thing is Star. Yep, this is destiny. So I was like, man, this girl, yeah. So I chose her, and that was why I chose her. So I was like, okay, Anthony, I'm gonna write you an invoice of $5.
What? And your cousins too? Your cousins didn't expect you to pick her at all?
No, they John Ramon expected me to pick the two that I was gonna pick, but the maid, which is like the teacher. Spoiler alert. And I admit, she had a really strong character development with her if you go through her route, if you want to play that game. But basically, Makoto and Anne and the maid, they have a really strong character development. And that's the reason why everyone thought I was going to pick those two. And I was like, yeah, I was going to pick those two until I met Hifumi. So I don't know.
How much longer do they spend like explaining these other characters' stories compared to the one you chose? Is it a lot longer?
They're all the same. Like every level, it goes 1 through 10, but each time you rank them up, you level up. So each rank does like a little tiny mini story basically of their circumstance of. So, but theirs was really kind of developed how they were going. So you kind of connect with them more stronger. Basically with them. Fumi's was kind of like dry, but the only reason why I liked it is because she likes chess, shogi. I like chess and all that stuff, and plus she went out of she went out of her way to come meet me in Hawaii. Like what? I had, so basically you go on a school trip to Hawaii. And her class goes to Hawaii too, but the thing is, it was like, I built the relationships up for every other girl too, but there was only like 2 girls that wanted to hang out with me on a beach, and I had to make the decision whether it was go with Makoto or go with Hifumi or go with my best bro. And I was like, okay, well, I gotta Hifumi. It was like left field out of nowhere, so I was like, you know what, I'll go with her. And it turns out that scene was pretty good. So basically, I'm almost done with this game. I gotta finish it, but Monster Hunter is sucking the soul out of me, and I'm trying my best to finish this game, but it's like, fuck, I kind of need to level up while everybody else is leveling up because it's hella fun. So basically, I'm playing that. Now let me rant on about Monster Hunter.
Wait, rant? It's negative, dude, or it's positive?
Is it rant? I thought rants were like just neutral.
Oh,
I'm gonna go on a tangent. Okay, maybe a tangent is the better phrase.
Your experience with Monster.
My experience, my positive experience, basically. I like to use the charge blade. Basically, that is a little bit tricky because you have to time your attacks. You keep pausing in the middle of battle. Like when you charge a weapon, you pause. When you do a charge slash, you pause. When you do like a supercharge to release your charged attack, you pause for a little bit. And these monsters jump around like crazy, so you have to like kind of predict that they're gonna move forward, move back, or do an attack. And then when they're doing an attack, but I'm really loving it because it really knocks them to the ground and all that. But one thing I do like is the grind. It's just building your character, like going to craft these armors from the dragons you slayed, or looking at all this stuff that we're going after as a team, like capture a dragon or track one down. I think it reminds me a bit of like Destiny 1, like how we're all a community and we're all playing together to grind, to see and compare which gear is better with them amongst each other. And, and the environment and the exploration is good. I think this game has potentially to be a great MMO if they just keep on expanding for a while. I'm willing to pay that money. But, like even the story, we're unsure really how the story is going to play out, and already this is a great game, so it already has the characteristics of being a great game. It's just being with your bros, hunting down monsters and all that. You know what, but the thing that sucks is if you're doing this solo by yourself, and B, I was in a map like for like 3 hours just trying to find a point or tracker, and I didn't realize that you starve, or you're kind of starving. You have to eat or something like that.
Yeah, you have to keep your stamina up. Yeah.
Exactly. So basically, your stamina shoots all the way down, and when you start running or trying to run, you limp. You don't get very far. You like take 2 steps limping, and then you're like out of breath. And then I like starved so much that every time like I stop, I'm like holding my stomach and bending down like I'm gonna throw up.
You didn't have any rare steaks?
No, like I left them all behind, and I think I only had like poison steaks and shit. Like,
oh my god, dude!
I know. So I thought going back to the camp and eating was gonna be the solution. Turns out it did nothing. I was like, what? I don't understand. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Maybe I'm eating the wrong food, but it did nothing. So for an hour, I was just limping all the way across the entire map, trying to chase that stupid bird that keeps flying away. What is it, Palomu?
Yeah, Palomu.
And and I don't know. Basically, I was trying to kill that shit. But yeah, every day I've been playing that game. And what else? Yesterday we were playing. Me and Dustin and Danny were trying to catch the Raytheon. Like put it to sleep and all that, and it kind of wiped us out one time. But Danny's pretty good at jumping on the back of like every monster we encountered. No matter if we're not even near a cliff or anything. He just suddenly we like blink and he's on top of the dragon riding it. We're like, what the fuck? It's flat land. But yeah, it's cool. Oh, were you there when Danny mentioned about the cats can learn abilities?
Yeah. That's crazy too, man. I guess in one of the Monster Hunter games from before, you could play as the cat, dude. How crazy is that? Yeah, man,
Holy
it's crazy,
shit, dude.
I wonder if they'll add that to this game. I just unlocked the ability to send the cats on. It's called a safari. And it just reminded me of Final Fantasy 14 with your retainers and stuff, dude.
Oh yeah, send them on the quest to gather all the goods.
Yeah, because then you can choose a quest to send them on, and then depending on what quest you send them on, they'll bring back items for you. So I sent them on a quest to, I don't know, fight some monsters, gather some materials, and they brought me back the parts I needed to build some armor. I was like, holy shit, dude! I gotta
shit! Where do you learn that?
Keep on doing this all day. It's tied into the story. It's somewhere in the story, dude.
Okay.
So you'll get it soon enough. But as soon as you unlock it, send those people out, man. Extra items. Just in the background, dude.
Yeah, I didn't know. Like, especially when I saw Danny's cat like putting down all these traps. I'm like, what the fuck? Where did this cat is planting everything? And then, sure enough, it like the traps were the monster was like running into all the traps. I was like, damn, dude, this is a good cat, So maybe I need to learn that. But you're saying about the one gathering materials. I think I need to do that one.
Yeah. Well, no, fortunately, if you send a cat out on the safari, it's not your cat, so you can still take him with you in fights and stuff. But definitely the safaris, as soon as you unlock them, definitely send those people out. So similarly to Rick, I started this week playing a game that wasn't Monster Hunter. I was playing Kingdom Hearts. And crazy enough, I was really starting to get addicted to it. You know what I mean? I was fighting all these hard bosses. I haven't beat Sephiroth yet because I haven't reached the level I wanted to reach. but I did beat that unknown dude I was talking about last week with the 2 lightsabers and shit. Beat him, which was a great fight. Because halfway through the fight, he changes forms and he starts teleporting around the room as this dark orb that you can't hit. So he'll attack, become this dark orb, go to a different part of the map, attack, and you just have to time his attacks and stuff. And it was just super fun, man. And the fact they had 2 lightsabers made it even better as well. So I figured, okay, I've done most of what I want to do in Kingdom Hearts. Let me go to Kingdom Hearts, I think it's called Unchained Memories, the second one. And this is the one I played on Game Boy Advance, where it's like a card game where each of your attacks is a card and each of your enemies' attacks is a card as well. It still plays like an action RPG, but instead of when you attack by pressing X, when you press X you use a card. So your cards can either be an attack, a magic spell, a summon, or anything like that. And on each card is a number. And if you play a card with a high enough number, it cancels out the attack that your enemy did. So it's like a game of war, essentially. And similarly, if an enemy plays a card, let's say they play an attack card that has a 7 on it, if I try to attack with anything under than a 7, my attack doesn't go through at all. Trumps to this are if you have a card higher than a 7, obviously, but if you have a card that is 0, you could play that as a counter. 0 counters everything, so you can like interrupt their attacks and shit like that. So it's pretty fun. I was just getting back into it. It's crazy because, like I said, I played this on Game Boy Advance, and it looks like they just completely remade it for the console. Like everything's 3D now. There's voice acting in it. I know, it's funny because it happens right after the first Kingdom Hearts, but the kid from Sixth Sense, Haley Joel Osment, he did the voice for Sora in Kingdom Hearts 1. I don't know who the hell did the voice for Sora in Kingdom Hearts Unchained Memories, but they did not cast him well, dude. This is supposed to happen literally right after the ending of Kingdom Hearts 1. And this guy's voice, he starts off like, all right, guys, let's go on an adventure. And then right in this game, he's like, hey, guys, I am losing all my memories. What's going on? It's so crazy, dude.
Oh, grown up.
They didn't even try. They didn't even try to match it up with the voice, dude. You know what I mean? At least if like Batman, if it isn't Mark Hamill, it's Troy Baker. I think did it in Origins, and he tried to make his voice sound like Mark Hamill. So
yeah, dark.
Yeah, they did not try at all in Kingdom Hearts Chain Memories, man. That's fucking Disney too. How did they let this happen, bro? But I was starting to get really addicted to that. It's a dungeon crawler game where you rebuild the worlds with these cards and go through each room to just progress further in the story, which is weird because now that I'm saying that and now that I'm thinking about it, it's perfect for the Game Boy Advance, right? It's perfect for a handheld to just go around and grind it out on this game for a little bit. But as a console game, that doesn't really make sense because I don't want to just sit here and grind out in, same rooms over and over just to progress a story. Wanted to feel more organic, like Monster Hunter World, right?
Yeah.
So I was playing that for majority of the week, really. And it's making me cry that I'm probably never going to get through the rest of the series now. Because Monster Hunter World did come out. I was able to play it. I bought it directly from the PlayStation Store, downloaded it onto my PlayStation Thursday morning, and started playing at 9 p.m. Thursday night. And yeah, man, the game is everything I imagined it to be and more, with the more features that come out.
Yeah.
Just been really getting into the action RPG kind of game style ever since Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 and all that stuff. I definitely think some of those skills carried into Monster Hunter and affect the way I play Monster Hunter. So
like the rolling?
Exactly. So out of those two, because that's what it is, right? In Monster Hunter, there's 14 different weapons that you can have, and they have 14 different, very different play styles, right?
Yeah.
So I was more attuned. I'm more partial to Bloodborne, where you got to dodge roll and attack and shit like that, right? And do combos and everything. I use the longsword in Monster Hunter, which allows me the ability to have these combos built up and then dodge whenever I want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For other people, I don't know, let's say if you're a big Zelda fan, they have a shield and sword there for you that affects the way you play the game differently than from when I play it. You know what I mean? You'll just stand there in the cut. You can slash at the enemy, use items with your weapon still out. Every time I use an item, I have to put my sword away and unsheath it and stuff like that. So I can have a completely different experience in combat than from what you're doing. And you're doing, you said the charge blade, right?
Yeah.
So that's a little bit more meticulous as far as you have to time your combos, anticipate where the monster's going to be so you can hit them in the right spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, I just go in there, do combos, build up a meter, and then unleash the meter on the enemy. You know what I mean? And that's the place I like to play, just more consistent damage over time and being able to dodge and having that mobility around, you know, where you just want to get those crunchy fucking crits in.
I want his fucking tail, son.
Exactly. And see, that's what makes it so satisfying too, is when you land those big hits and you break parts off the enemy. And, or you break parts off the monsters, and it's just fucking amazing, dude. And I think we've been missing that. We've been missing the progression system that this game has for a long time, you know, where you beat a monster and you don't get any items that you can use right away from it, right? But you get ingredients for different stuff that you can build. You know, I think we've spent way too long playing fucking Destiny, man. To forget what it's like to get like real meaningful loot and feel like there's that progression there, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas in Destiny, we would fight something to get for a chance for something to drop. In Monster Hunter, we fight something and beat it so we can build towards something. You know, no encounter is useless. Yeah, no encounter is useless at all because you're always getting something. I mean, maybe if you're trying to get a monster's tooth, the tooth won't drop, but at least you'll get his skin for some other gear that you can build too and get upgrades off of. So I don't know, man. I can't say enough about this game right now. It just continues to surprise me. You know, I know we haven't even unlocked all the features since we're barely halfway through the game, but like I said, right now I just discovered you can send your cats on a safari, dude. It's amazing, man.
I didn't even know that. Shit.
Yeah. And the game is just becoming that more advanced too, right? I mean, when you start off in the first area, you fight a Jargus, which is like a giant lizard thing. You fight a T-Rex, you fight a bird that spits poison at you. You fight another bird that picks up a rock and uses it as a weapon to attack you and shit like that. And now at the point of the game I'm at, I'm running into a lot of monsters that can fly, you know, so I have to deal with him flying and trying to get him grounded, you know, because I'm not using a gun, I'm using a sword, so I have to find ways to have him land and stun him while he's on the ground. And the strategies are becoming that much more advanced the farther you go into the game too, which I think is awesome. So it feels really, really good right now. The game does. Being new, I think I've put 20 hours into it already, dude.
Yeah.
The last time I logged in, I think it said 22 hours or something like that, man. So I've definitely been playing the shit out of this game. And yeah, man, I'm just addicted. Every waking moment I have to be playing Monster Hunter, dude. And it is fun because you get to play with your friends, but you can also have that solo experience too, you know what I mean? Now
hunting.
Yeah, they kind of fucked up though, because I want to be able to play through the story mode with my friends, but you can't really do that. It's not even you have to finish the quest to play that quest with someone else. You have to watch the cutscene in that quest in order to play it with someone else. So that's really weird to me. Even when where the cutscenes are at within the quest, it's kind of random. Some of them, the quest opens up with the cutscene. Some of the quests, the cutscene is in the middle of it, like when you first discover the monster. And then some of the quests, the cutscene is at the end when you finish it. So what the fuck? How can you tell? You know what I mean? But hopefully they fix that with something in the future. I mean, that's kind of the same thing that Neo was running into, right? Where you couldn't play with someone unless you beat the level already.
Yeah.
But they fixed that eventually. So hopefully they see a need for it. I think right now they just don't want people to finish it too quick, which I don't see any danger in that. Because although I can just burn through the story, it's not worth it, dude. I want to go back and kill all these monsters and wear them as armor and shit, dude.
Exactly, and then I think Danny mentioned he was gonna do that with every single piece of gear. I was like,
Jesus.
"Fuck."
Yeah, I can't do that. There's a few that look awesome that I'll get, even though they won't be an upgrade for me. I'll just get them because they look cool.
Mhm.
And now I'm finding too, I have a hard time committing, man, because I've fought monsters a bunch of times. I've gathered all these materials from them, and let's say I could build the entire dude. And that's another thing about this game. I do not know what any of the monsters' names are, dude. I have the hardest time remembering that shit. What's the T-Rex in the first level? Arjanath?
Anjathan or something.
Whatever, dude.
Anjathan.
So the T-Rex in the first level, I have enough to make his complete set of armor, and equip it on myself. But I can't do it, dude. I can't just let my collection of all these monster parts become armor that I might not ever use.
You can build it actually for your cat too.
Yeah. And that's what I did with the Raytheon, that flying dragon wyvern thing. I made him the Raytheon set, which kind of looks stupid. It looks like a dress, but it's pretty strong.
Gotcha.
So every time I come back from an expedition or a quest or something like that, I'll go to the blacksmith to see what I can build or how much of an item I need. And every time I'll pass by that Anja set and I'll be like, I could make this right now, but I don't want to lose all these items just in case I might need it later. I'm so indecisive, dude. I can't commit to a piece of armor, man.
Yeah, like what if you encounter an armor that needs pieces from like 3 different dragons?
Exactly.
Later down the line, you're like, fuck, I gotta rehunt them again.
Yeah. So right now, I'm just wearing the Giratado set, the nematode, that little fish with legs. I'm wearing his set right now. But every time you open up a new area and encounter a new monster, you beat that monster, you get his parts, so you unlock that monster's armor set in the blacksmith, and they just get cooler and cooler, man.
Yeah.
Can't wait, bro. I can't wait to play again after we're done recording this.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna microwave nachos and fucking play all day.
But yeah, so that's what we're playing this week. It's mainly all been one game. It's sad that it's pulled us away from other games, dude. It's kind of crazy.
Dude, I'm already almost done. I got one more palace dungeon thing to do, and I know I'm done. But
this is your next Witcher 3, man.
Fuck. I know. God damn it. Oh, I gotta finish that.
That's funny, man. But yeah, this week it's funny enough that we've been grinding so hard on Monster Hunter and for drops and things like that. We're gonna talk about the best thing that's been given to us by RNGesus. Now, RNG is a random number generator. It's what dictates how people get loot in most video games, in most loot-based video games. And that is what Rick and I are the most susceptible to, right? We get that addiction from having to grind things out and get specific drops, We've been doing it for a long time. I think since we could play video games together online and have drops, we've been getting in on them. So what's the best drop you've ever gotten, dude, randomly from a game?
There's 2 categories. There's one that's best and one's general, but I think I like to talk about the general for a little bit.
Okay.
That's what got my addiction like really up there. Was back in the day was Pokemon, dude. It was just always finding out which Pokemon you run into, and when you do run into that, then you get that like that adrenaline rush of like trying to capture it so that way you can get it into your collection. So I think that plays on our whole RNG. Like it just, that's where our foundation came in from, I think.
I never thought of that.
But
yeah.
But the biggest one that I can remember, like I was like browsing through all of my games and I was like, wow, I didn't really grind too much on the RNG, but I think the one that I was like really noticeable and it was recent, it was the Hawk Moon for Destiny 1. So basically, I was getting a lot of different exotic gear, exotic weapons, which was like the highest form of stuff you can get in the game, but I was like getting everything. The only thing I didn't get was like the Gallahorn and the Hawkmoon. But I wasn't really too crazy of going after the Gallahorn, but it was the Hawkmoon. I was a hand cannon user, and that it was an exotic hand cannon. And you know, it was back when it first initially released. It was a really good game, good gun, and it was like a PS4 exclusive for like a little bit. But the thing was, everybody had a Hawkmoon, and that was what made it ridiculous. It was like I wanted the Hawkmoon the longest time, but everybody else got one. And I remember like some of them got like 3 Hawkmoons in a row or something like that. And they dismantled it. They're like, oh yeah, I got an extra Hawkmoon. Boo, you know, dismantle. I was like, oh my god, I need that dude, fucking gun, dude.
My favorite one was, I think, who got it one time? Was it Alan or something who got it? And he goes, oh, I got a gun. It's called like the Hawkeye or something.
Hawkeye, yeah. It might have been, who fucking did that? I don't remember. But I was like pretty salty at that point because they didn't understand. They were like, I think they just reached like level 20. And I think that was like their first exotic was like getting that gun. They're like, oh yeah, I got a Hawkmoon. I was like, what?
And that was the thing. Nobody else used hand cannons either. You were the only one that was using hand cannons at the time.
Exactly. And I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. This is completely ridiculous. And then I remember Alan too getting it, and I was like, what? You barely played and you get the gun too? I was like, man. So I was like, okay, I told everybody, I was like, all right, if I ever get this fucking gun, I'm going to dismantle all my exotic gear. And sure enough, I think it was like a month or 2 later, I ended up getting the gun, and I was like, oh my god, this is the best feeling ever. But the thing is, I had to dismantle all of my gear, so I was like crying.
Bittersweet.
Yeah, I was crying because I was like, fuck, I have to make this promise of dismantling everything, you know? It's just, so everything I collected for like 3 or 4 months, I had to dismantle it just because I got that Hawkmoon. But the thing was, what made it great was I was fucking great with the Hawkmoon. You know, like, because back then when it released, it was super powerful still with the Aces perk. And I was dominating left and right in PvP. It was just, I was easily getting above like 25 kills in one match. Just easily. But, you know, I think later down the line, they started nerfing hand cannons, and then it was still strong, but then it started to take like 3 to 4 bullets to kill somebody versus it used to take like 1 to 2 shots. But that was the thing. That was like my biggest thing ever, was just getting that Hawkmoon. And I don't know, I felt like the happiest guy alive. You know, I was like a peasant with peasant clothes because I had no more exotic gear.
But you had your Hawkmoon.
I had the Hawkmoon, so I was like, yeah, that is where I became legend. I am legend.
Oh man, so I think my biggest one, I didn't even realize it at the time. So this was like the first experience we've ever had with it too, was in City of Heroes. With the so in City of Heroes, you can make, or there were things called enhancements, right? And these increase the accuracy of your superpowers, increase the attack power of them. You could attach slots to different powers, and that dictated how much you could buff up that power with these enhancements. After a while, and this makes me wonder why they shut down City of Heroes. It had an economy, man. It had a lot of stuff going on for it in the end. But anyways,
hell yeah, it did.
In the end, they had these enhancements that were called inventions, I think, or invention origin enhancements that you could build. And to build these enhancements, I mean, and they had a bunch of perks. There was set bonuses if you had an entire set of these enhancements and things like that. And they buffed up 2 different stats instead of just 1 stat. So after a while, the only way you could build these was to get the recipes for them, or at least for the good ones. You had to find the recipes for them. So I remember one day I was just doing a random task force with some random people in City of Heroes, and I got this recipe, for this enhancement, I was a scrapper, and it was for a controller. The enhancement was for a controller, and I was like, oh man, I got a good recipe, but I'm never gonna use it. Damn, I can't build it. I go into the auction house, and this thing is selling for 50 million. What is it?
What?
It was selling for a grip, dude, and I was like, hell yeah, man, I'm about to sell this joint. And then I was like, wait, I'm not gonna do that. Let me see how much it is.
Create my little farm.
Let me see how much it is if I actually make the recipe. You know what I mean? If I actually make this enhancement, how much it'll be. So I do a search for the enhancement. Once it's made, it's selling for 150 million influence. Dude.
Oh my
I was like,
God.
Oh my Jesus. But that's not the end of it, dude. Remember, there's set bonuses on these pieces. And the crazy thing about City of Heroes is, I think there's 6 or 5 pieces in a set.
Yeah.
Each piece has a different set bonus on it. So you had to collect 5 specific kinds of enhancements. So I was like, oh my God, dude, how much does mine cost? Mine cost 200 million, dude, because it was one of the rare ones. So I was like, what the fuck? So I think at this point, I had, a couple mil, nothing like 100 mil in my bank. And I went through and started looking for the ingredients I need to build this thing. And of course, one of the pieces I need to build this cost 5 million on its own. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so
yeah.
Like, fuck it, dude. I'm going to turn 50 into 200 million. We're doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I typed it in, and that funded me, man, for the rest of my life in City of Heroes. That one
God damn.
enhancement funded me. I remember they, at the end, they had like these class specific enhancements where you can only have one set of it at all, like throughout any of your characters. And they were super expensive, but I had enough money to buy all of them just because of that one piece, dude. It was crazy, man. So I mean, although I wasn't excited about it at the time, like after I realized what I got, it turned out to be the best for me. I think the thing I've gotten the most excited for was probably the Vex Mythoclast, man. That's probably because that was, I maybe got it on the 3rd week we did the hard raid, and this was after that guy came out with that video. He was like the first person to really get the Mythoclast and was just tearing people up in PvP. Yeah, man, so
I saw that.
I was excited that at least I could have time to experience that ownage for a little bit, because they nerfed that shit super quick after that, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably the best thing I've ever gotten, man. It's interesting that you bring up Pokemon, because there is so much randomness that comes into that, right? Because of course, if you're a fan of Pokemon and you get Pokemon Blue or Red, the first thing you want to do is catch a Pikachu. And that was the most rarest thing to fucking find in the...
Hell yeah,
it was in the first forest, dude, that was filled with bugs and shit, you know what I mean? And you're just... I remember the first playthrough I ever had of Pokemon, I was overpowered by Brock's dungeon because I was trying to find a Pikachu, dude. It was so rare, man. So rare. I remember too, I ran into when I got all excited and then I killed it. I was like, fuck, no way. Either that or I think I ran into another one and I ran out of Pokeballs. So I was just crying to myself, like, this isn't fair, dude.
That reminds me of the time when Pokemon Go first released. I remember it was like a week later, after everybody was going all crazy searching for Pokemon. It was like 10 p.m. at night, and I was like laying in bed, and then I see on like the bottom right icon, there was like a figure of a Dragonite, and I was like, holy shit, there's a Dragonite near my neighborhood. So like me and my nephew were like driving around all over my neighborhood, and then we like found it. It was like down the street. And then I remember I was like, fuck, I'm gonna be one of the first people to catch this fucking rare Pokemon, and then I only had 10 Pokeballs.
Oh my god.
So I was like, oh my god, 1, this thing can run away, and 2, I don't have enough fucking Pokeballs. So basically I was just throwing these Pokeballs, and then luckily it didn't run away, but I ran out of Pokeballs, and I was like, man, my heart dropped. I was like, fuck, dude, this is the rare Pokemon, I'm gonna let it go. But then I saw like I think at the bottom there's like the option to like buy more Pokeballs with real money. So I was like, I'm fucking doing this. I think I threw down like $5 to buy more Pokeball. And then sure enough, I was able to catch it with like a regular Pokeball. I was like, fuck yes, dude. I think that was a good RNG kind of thing.
Because you never saw a Dragonite in your neighborhood again, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And then I didn't. Well, I like first when I caught it, I was like, cool, I was like showing off everybody. But then a month later, I was like realizing, damn, a lot of people I know don't have a Dragonite, and this thing is super rare. And plus, when we spot it, like remember in like La Jolla, everybody starts running
to that house.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, damn, I guess this was pretty fucking rare, It's like, damn. Oh, yeah.
Damn, dude. Last summer was super fun doing that. Was that last summer? Or was that 2 summers ago? 2 summers ago.
2 summers ago, I think. Yeah.
Dude, that was super fun just being out there playing that. Yeah. I remember when we caught a Lapras too, man.
Hell yeah.
Who was there? Was it you, me, and was it Alan that was with us?
I think so,
we were in La Jolla, and we were just hanging out there. I remember when we went there when it wasn't even that popping yet, dude. We met that guy at Balboa Park, and he told us, "Oh yeah, you guys should check out La Jolla." And we're like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah.
So we went to La Jolla. There wasn't really anybody there. We were catching a lot of seal and a lot of tentacle and stuff, and we're like, "Okay, this place isn't bad." You know what I mean? And then I think we did see that Dragonite one time, and then it started to really pick up. Oh, Scyther. That's why too. There was a lot of Scyther in that park.
Yeah.
And then we'd continuously go, and the crowds there got bigger and bigger. When we first went, I remember there was families having a picnic out there.
Tents and everything.
By the last time we went, people were just out there playing Pokemon Go, dude. And so catching this Lapras, I specifically remember Alan and I caught it, and I think you were on the phone. You know what I mean? And I was like, dude, Rick, get off the phone. There's a Lapras right here. And you were like, oh, okay, bye. Hung it up real quick. Caught the Lapras and then got back on the phone. I was like, holy shit, dude.
Oh, those are fucking good times.
That was fun, especially after you find out how rare a Lapras is, right? Like, I think that's what makes it cool. Like, catching all those and then showing it to everybody else, and there's like, oh man, where'd you catch that? And then you have that whole experience you can tell them about, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, man, that was good times. That was good times for sure. So now we're talking about the good side. What about the bad side of RNG? What's the longest you've ever grinded for something that you wanted?
I think, I'm not sure, it was Vindictus. Basically, I was grinding for a gear piece, and I think it was the boots. It might have been the gloves or something like that. And it was like one of those rare drops, extremely rare drops. You have to break it off in order to get it and all that. And I've been grinding for like 30 hours just to get that piece.
God, dude, what?
Yeah. I really want, because I was very OCD with my looks, and I made a waifu on it. My character is a girl, and everything had a match. The stats were good. They all had a match, and I just wanted to make sure like everything was going good. So basically, I spent like 30 hours grinding for that particular piece, and then it turns out when I managed to get it, I was like super stoked, and I was like, oh shoot, it's like a different color, like a but the thing is, you can dye it, but you need to buy the dye. The dye costs a lot of money, by the way, and it's random. The dye is not even for sure that you're going to end up getting the right dye. But basically, the gray on the boots and the gloves did not fucking match. I was so pissed, dude. Like, one was shiny gray, and one was like dirt gray. So I was like, holy crap, my outfit does not match at all. I was so bitter, dude. I was so mad. Because I've been wasting my time. I could have just looked and grinded for something else, but yeah. Now to the weapons. One, weapons are ridiculously expensive past like a certain level. Like here's to rub like salt in. Think of earning like 5K, 5,000 or to 30,000 after each dungeon run. And each dungeon run is like maybe an hour, hour long or 30 minutes long. But if you're lucky, you can find crap to sell it up to 30K.
Oh, nice.
But on average, you get stuff that like is like 5K, and then plus it's hard because you have to break off equipment of the enemies, which is like really tough because they jump around and shit. Now think of buying a weapon that costs 2 million. So it's doable, right? You know, like just grind it all. So like that's why I have a shit ton of. I think I have over 300 hours in Vindictus. So basically, you grind it all the way, and you're able to get your weapon. You know, I finally got my weapon, and like it was like a $2 million staff.
Oh my god, making it
now
$30,000 at a time. You bought something for 2 million.
Yeah, that's if you're lucky.
Holy
you can find
shit.
crap to sell up to 30,000, but on average,
shit.
it's like 5K, and each is like an hour-long dungeon.
Uh-huh.
But here's the thing: in order to when you get the staff, it's at a certain level. Now, if you level past the weapon itself, you have to level up your weapon. Now, the sucky part is when you're leveling up your weapon, you have a really high risk of breaking your weapon. So you have to have your weapon.
Wait, is this already going where I think it's gonna go, dude?
No, well, no, almost. So basically, I was leveling up my weapon until I reach a point where it's gonna start breaking. If you it's like gambling. You have a high chance of being successful, or you have a chance of it reducing your durability, or when it goes low, it breaks. So basically, I was leveling up, and the equipment or the material to level the thing up costs a lot of money as well. It's like $200,000 or something like that. And I don't know. I had the worst luck in my life. Every time I tried to level it up, it kept like breaking. It kept reducing the durability.
Oh my god, dude!
I was like at like a really high durability, and it came down to like 2 durability, and that was it. I was like, dude, that is fucking bullshit. So now I can't level up my weapon without breaking it. So I just left it alone, and it's like stuck at that particular level, you know. And then in order for me to get a better weapon, now I have to grind for like a $5 million weapon, or you know, just a higher weapon. And I can't sell my weapon because it's like no one was gonna buy a low durability weapon, you know. It's like fuck. So that is the worst game game ever.
So I think my longest grind had to be, and it still continues to this day because I never got the piece. Oh no, I did get the piece. So it's in Final Fantasy 14, and you know, MMO type loot system, where stuff will drop randomly at the end of quests, and then you have to roll for it. You know what I mean? So I'm farming it. The piece was these Allagan arms, basically, and the only reason I really wanted them was to use them for what's that shit called? Fashion. What's it called, dude?
Glamour.
Yeah, glamour. There you go. That's what it's called in that game. I was gonna call it something else, but yeah. So I wanted it for glamour. So I didn't need it for the stats. I was way over leveled for it anyways. I just wanted it to put it on top of something so it looked cool, you know, because it was the only real piece. I was a black mage in Final Fantasy 14, and it was the only piece that really looked like armor. You know, black mages in Final Fantasy are always wearing fucking drapes and dresses and stuff. I wanted a trench coat, pants, and armor arms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So ever since I saw them, I was grinding on them, and I must have been grinding for maybe a week or two, and I hadn't even seen them drop. You know, the quest that it dropped one was from turn 2, I think, Bahamut's Coil turn 2, which at the time when I was playing it, it was super optimized. You know, people knew how to do it. I was doing like 3 or 4 runs an hour. You know, we were just getting through it really quick. and it's just not dropping, dude. I was like, what the fuck, man? I'm just never gonna get this, you know. And what would make me worry too is if there was another black mage on the team, because then you could roll,
gamble.
you could roll need, greed, or pass, you know. And if I roll need, of course I'm gonna get it because everyone else is gonna roll greed, right? So I think I ran into it once and lost the roll. So I was pissed, but I was like, that's okay, man. You know, I'll just keep going. So I'm grinding for another week or two, and the perfect scenario, you know what I mean? There's no black mages on the team. It's like my first run of the day, and it drops. You know, actually, it's funny because all mage gear drops, right? There's white mage gloves, black mage gloves. I'm like, yes, dude. The grind ends today. Right? It didn't, because there was a white mage on my team.
Oh no!
And even after I rolled pass on the white mage gloves, for whatever reason, he can still roll need on the black mage gloves.
Yeah, because I think it's a magic gear. That's why it's like generic.
Dude. Yeah, dude. So I was like, yes, I rolled need, and it was like a 24. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm the only black mage in this party. It's mine. And I see the rolls, and he rolls like a 98 need, and I go, my God, fucking kidding me right now, dude? And I think that's what contributed to me not playing Final Fantasy 14 anymore, dude. And you think about it, it's not even something I need in the game. I just want it to look cool. Like, I had all my shit at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I had all the armor I needed. I'd farmed up all the Allegan tomestones or whatever for my my gear, and I was like way over leveled to be needing this shit, but I just wanted to look cool, man. And since I couldn't look cool in the game, I stopped playing. I really did. I turned off the game and sat back and just went to sleep, dude. It was like my first run. It was probably like 8:30, and I was like, nope, not gonna let it get to me like that. I just went to sleep, dude.
Oh shit.
But eventually, they let you buy that armor piece, and it's called a replica Allegan armor. So you could just buy it just for glamour. It doesn't have any of the stats or anything. So eventually I bought it and was able to look cool. But yeah, man, how ridiculous is that? It actually reminds me of another story. It actually reminds me of another story. The what do you call it? The loot system in Blade and Soul was different because instead of rolling for items, you bid on it, right? You bid how much money you would pay for an item or something like that. You remember doing that, dude?
I don't remember. I wasn't on a team, that's why.
Okay. Remember. So here's the thing, right? The only thing that matters in Blade and Soul is your weapon. You know what I mean? And you could build that up just progressing through the story, buying stuff. That's fine. Your armor doesn't matter. You know, what you look like doesn't matter at all. In fact, I think they only sell full armor sets and masks. That's all they sell. You know, you can't pick and choose pants, shirts, or arms or anything like that in that game. But there's this one mission or one quest where you fight, I think it's a statue of a lion that comes to life. And if you beat it, you get this lion face mask. You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember the first time I'd seen the face mask, I was like, oh, dude, that looks fucking awesome. I want that. So I run the quest the first time because you have to do it for the story, and it drops. I'm sitting here like, holy shit, dude. I'm going to get this right now. So I think there's bronze, silver, and gold pieces. That's their currency in the game. And I'm not rich in this game at all. I wasn't playing it super hardcore like that, but I had maybe 5 gold pieces. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm sitting here thinking, no one's going to spend 50 silver on this. So I throw down 50 silver. Someone puts down, I think 500 silver. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? So it's just me and him going back and forth, like bidding on this thing. And I think the group size is 4 people, and the 2 other people are just watching. And you could see them type in chat like, "Oh shit, dude, he's raising it still." We're just going back and forth. I think I ended up spending all of my money. I bid my God. 5 gold coins, and once I bid it, I was like, "Please, dude, do not outbid me." And the guy goes, It's fine. You can have it. And leaves, right? And I
Oh
was like,
wow, what a
yes,
troll!
dude, I got it. And I just put on that thing. I remember this is the only time I've ever impressed John Raymond was when I was wearing. John Raymond's a hard guy to please, dude. This guy figures everything out really quick. I remember I put on that mask. He's like, "Oh, cool, dude. That looks awesome." I was like, "Yes, I got it." But I'm fucking broke, you know. And that was it. And then I went and played another mission, and I needed to buy something like a potion or something, and I couldn't. I was so pissed, man.
I remember too, like in that game, like after every battle or every monster you defeat, you only get like 4 copper or 20
dude.
copper or something, and then like 100 copper makes 1 silver, and then you need 100 or like 1,000 silver or something like that to make
piece.
1 gold. Yeah.
Oh,
holy
man.
shit,
yeah, dude, that was super funny, but super not worth it. Because I think I did. That's why I stopped playing that game because I didn't have any more money. Oh man, but the grind, it never stops. It's what traps us in these games, dude. And I mean, as far as things are concerned, if there's never gonna be a system where I have to, roll for loot or have a chance of not getting anything at all in Monster Hunter, I think will be good, which is what it looks like. Every battle you have, every encounter you have, because okay, maybe today I'm starting to feel a little overpowered because I'm fighting what's that one guy's name, the lightning lizard, Toby Karachi, something like that, dude.
That moves really fast.
Yeah. So when I first fought him, I had some difficulties. I think John Raymond really did carry me throughout that fight. But I fought him again maybe this morning a couple times, and I beat him in like 5-10 minutes, dude. It wasn't anything at all. So I'm starting to feel that overpoweredness and where you can farm stuff. And it is just worth it every time. But usually when you try to get something that's worth it, like if I try to fight that T-Rex Anjanath, it would probably take me, 30 minutes or so? Maybe not that long. Maybe like 20 minutes to beat him solo. And to think you go through that big-ass encounter and just get a tooth. And that's it when you really needed some skin. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? The fact that you can always get something meaningful, in Monster Hunter, I think is going to keep us on this game for a while. So I'm looking forward to the grind, man. It's going to be good times. But yeah, so now we get to the point in our show where we make some game recommendations. So what game would you recommend for us this week, man?
Capcom versus SNK 2. I remember playing that game a lot. I think it was on the PS2.
Okay. I was going to ask how old that is, because aren't they on like 4 now or something?
Yeah, I think so. Man, I just remember
No, there is no more Capcom versus SNK anymore. I think it's just King of Fighters and shit.
Is it?
Maybe.
Capcom versus SNK 4.
There might just
it goes up to 3.
Okay, so it just goes up to 3. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but basically I remember playing it with Danny and Eric and Alan. It was mostly at Danny's house, and we go back and forth, and I think it was like mostly Street Fighters versus Fatal Fury characters or King of Fighter characters, and I would always be Bison and all that. And I remember you invited me over to your house one day, and you like popped it in, and I was jumping all over the place with Bison. Or I think you were using like Ryu or Ken or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I definitely recommend that game. That was one of the classics. It was super good until before I think they started going into like 3D now these days.
Mm-hmm.
They should have just kept that 2D picture art kind of stuff, because I think that's what made like Street Fighter kind of. It was more like cartoony. Mm-hmm. Now it's like getting more serious, and then I think soon it's gonna be all in virtual reality where we're gonna actually have to fight each other.
You get out and you get beat up, dude.
Fuck.
Get out of VR and you have a black eye. Like, oh man, you break your hand punching a wall or something like that.
Shit, but yeah, that game was a classic. So I definitely recommend checking that out if you love fighter games. It's on the PS2. And yeah, it just has that really strong nostalgic feel. It has all of the Street Fighter characters in it, and all that, and the move sets, and even the combo system was pretty fluid. So I don't know how in comparison that is to the new Street Fighters and all that, but definitely recommend that game.
Mm-hmm. I will recommend Kingdom Hearts, but not the one I'm playing. I recommend the Game Boy Advance version of it because the gameplay, the game style it is, being a dungeon crawler where you have to grind out, and it's actually a lot more than that because you get to build a deck of cards that you use in fights. And I remember by the end of it, when I played it on Game Boy Advanced, my whole deck was just full of cards that were 9, so I could just mash. At this point it was A. I was just mashing A and fucking everything up. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even need to look at the screen. All I had to do was press A, and I would just kill everything because nothing could block any of my shit. And there is, especially in the early game stages of it, you have to be a little bit more strategic with what you do. I mean, mainly you play the card that's at the top of your deck, but by pressing the shoulder buttons you can scroll through and find a specific card you need, although you won't be attacking as fast as you want to. There is that strategy to it, to where, oh man, this guy's playing a level 5 card, I've got to look for a level 6 card in my deck somewhere to counter that. You especially want to do that if it's a super strong move that's going to take up the whole stage.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more to it than that, just dungeon crawling. But I think the style of the game it's way more suited for a handheld. I know a lot of people got 3DSs which can play Game Boy Advance games, so definitely check that out if it's accessible to you. Although it is cool seeing them remake it for PlayStation at this point, PlayStation 4. I don't think it's something I could sit through too long. I'd probably rush through it real quick and try to get by with the bare
like
minimum.
The iPhone or something like that.
Yeah, cool. It's a good game for the iPhone too. If they wanted to, they could. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying I support it, but if they wanted to, they could put microtransactions in there and put card packs and shit. But yeah, dude, no, it's a good game. I have no idea about the story. I mean, I know I finished it back in the day, but how it fits in the grand scheme of Kingdom Hearts, who knows? I won't spoil how it ends, but I think it introduces new characters. So who knows, man? Maybe someone out there can finish it and tell me. I'd like to be that person. I bet you the person that fully understands the Kingdom Hearts story has a guaranteed job at Disney.
John Raymond.
Really, dude? Because one day
he was trying to tell me the whole story. I was like, you lost me at hello. Like, all right. I was like, he's like telling me, and I was like, dude, you gotta draw me a map or something. So he drew like a 3-page paper map of like the story, the timeline, and he's trying to explain it to me. And I was like, yeah, can you rewind back to Kingdom Hearts 1? What happened again?
I'm telling you, Disney is gonna make a theme park, or maybe a portion of their park, that's gonna be dedicated to video games and stuff. Either they buy out Square Enix wholesale, or they just keep on with the Kingdom Hearts. You're gonna need someone there who can explain the whole story to someone.
Yeah,
guaranteed job in less than 3 years. You're gonna have a guaranteed job at Disneyland, dude. If you know the whole story of Kingdom Hearts, you don't even have to be the person there. You could be the trainer. You could be the guy that trains the actors. The guys that dress up like Sora and Riku at Disneyland. You could train them in their role playing of those characters. Oh man, but yeah, that is it for us this week. Back to more Monster Hunter. Next week we will be talking about Xbox Game Pass. So that's something that Xbox announced either this week or last week, and it's a subscription service not too different from PlayStation Now, except with Xbox Game Pass you can download the games instead of streaming them. So we'll talk about the pros and cons of that, what we think about it, if PlayStation should totally switch it up so they do it next week. But until then, Rick, some words of wisdom?
If if you want to pick up monster tails when the monster is still alive, make sure the coast is clear.
All right, guys. See you